Hey everybody, I'm Karis, or as my agent calls me when he's trying to butter me up for a favor, Moneybags. Just kidding. Welcome to my channel where we explore the world, one hilarious mishap at a time. Today, we're doing things a little differently. We're ditching the mishaps, well, mostly, and counting down the top 10 must-visit places in America. From sea to shining sea, this country's got it all: amazing scenery, questionable fashion choices, and more fried food than you can shake a stick at. So buckle up, buttercups, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. You know, the kind that makes your grandma say, "What in the world are you watching?" First up, we're heading to the natural wonder that makes even the most cynical New Yorker go ooh la la, the Grand Canyon. Now I'm not one for heights, trust me, I get vertigo on a stepladder. But even I gotta admit, the Grand Canyon is something else. Picture this. You're standing on the edge, wind whipping through your hair. Hopefully, you remembered hairspray. And before you stretches this vast, colorful abyss carved over millions of years by the mighty Colorado River. It's enough to make you forget about your student loan payments for a hot minute. And for you adventurous types, you can hike down into the canyon. Just make sure you pack plenty of water, sunscreen, and maybe a Sherpa or two. Trust me, your knees will thank me later. But the Grand Canyon isn't just about the views. Oh no, my friends, it's also a geological marvel. You see those layers of rock? Each one tells a story, a chapter in the Earth's history. It's like a textbook, only way more interesting, and you won't fall asleep reading it. So whether you're a nature enthusiast, a photography buff, or just looking for a place to escape your in-laws for a weekend, the Grand Canyon is a must-visit. Next up, we're heading north to Yellowstone National Park, a land where the Earth is basically throwing a tantrum 24/7. But, hey, some of the best things in life are a little bit dramatic, right? Yellowstone is home to more geysers than anywhere else on Earth. We're talking about Old Faithful, the reliable overachiever, shooting scalding hot water into the air like clockwork. It's like Mother Nature's version of a synchronized swimming routine, only way hotter. And speaking of hot, don't even get me started on the hot springs. These colorful pools of steaming water are beautiful, but deadly. Seriously folks, no skinny dipping in these bad boys. You'll be boiled faster than a lobster at a seafood buffet. But Yellowstone isn't all about geothermal wonders. It's also home to a surprising amount of wildlife. We're talking bison roaming free, majestic elk, wolves howling in the distance. Basically, it's like a Disney movie, but with less singing and more potential for being eaten. So, pack your bear spray, your sense of adventure, and your most impressive zoom lens, because Yellowstone is a wild ride you won't soon forget. Alright folks, buckle up because we're heading to the city that never sleeps, the concrete jungle, the Big Apple, New York City. It's a place where dreams are made of, and also where you can get a decent bagel at 3 in the morning. First stop, Times Square. Now I know what you're thinking, Jimmy, it's crowded, it's loud, and it smells like hot garbage and desperation. And you know what? You're not wrong. But there's a certain energy to Times Square, a sense of possibility that's hard to find anywhere else. Then of course, there's Central Park, the city's green oasis. It's the perfect place to escape the hustle and bustle, enjoy a romantic stroll, or get mugged by a squirrel. Hey, it happens to the best of us. And no trip to New York City is complete without catching a Broadway show. From Hamilton to Wicked to The Lion King, there's something for everyone. Just be prepared to shell out a week's worth of rent for a decent seat. But hey, it's New York City. The pizza's good, the people are rude, and the possibilities are endless. Just watch out for those taxi drivers. They're animals. Chapter 4, Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas gets posted on Instagram. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're heading to Sin City, the entertainment capital of the world, the place where good judgment goes to die, Las Vegas. It's like a giant adult playground, only with slot machines and cocktails the size of your head. Now, I'm not much of a gambler myself, unless you count betting on myself to eat an entire pizza in one sitting, which, spoiler alert, I can't. But even I can appreciate the spectacle that is a Las Vegas casino. The flashing lights, the ringing bells, the people who haven't slept in 72 hours. It's an experience, to say the least. But Vegas isn't just about gambling. Oh no, my friends, it's also about shows, shopping, and of course buffets. We're talking buffets so epic, so overflowing with food, that you'll need to be rolled out of there on a stretcher. And let's not forget about the nightlife. Whether you're into world-renowned DJs, elaborate Cirque du Soleil performances, or just dancing on tables with a giant margarita in hand, Vegas has got you covered. Just remember, what happens in Vegas gets posted on Instagram. So maybe think twice before you get that face tattoo. Chapter 5, Miami Beach, sun, sand, and enough spandex to clothe a small country. Next stop, we're trading in our desert boots for flip-flops and heading to the Sunshine State, baby. Miami Beach, here we come. Get ready for beautiful beaches, turquoise water, and enough spandex to clothe a small country. Miami Beach is all about soaking up the sun, and trust me, you'll get your fill of vitamin D here. Whether you're lounging on South Beach, working on your tan lines, or pretending to be a lifeguard, the beach is the place to be. But Miami isn't just about the beach. It's also about the vibrant culture, the delicious food, and the nightlife that's hotter than a jalapeno eating contest. And speaking of hot, let's talk about the people in Miami. They're beautiful, they're tanned, and they're not afraid to show a little skin. It's basically a walking, talking music video down here. So, pack your swimsuit, your sunscreen, and your dancing shoes because Miami is ready to party. Chapter 6, San Francisco, where the views are as steep as the hills. Alright folks, hold on to your sourdough bread because we're heading to the city by the bay, the Golden Gate City, the place where you can wear a fleece jacket in July, San Francisco. First up, no trip to San Fran is complete without a visit to the Golden Gate Bridge. It's iconic, it's orange, and it's really, really long. Walk, bike, or drive across it, but just don't jump. Then there's Alcatraz Island, the former prison that housed some of the most notorious criminals in American history. Take a tour, learn about its spooky past, and try not to let the ghosts of gangsters' past scare you silly. And speaking of spooky, let's talk about the hills in San Francisco. They're steep, they're unforgiving, and they'll give your calves a workout like no other. Seriously, bring your hiking boots and be prepared to break a sweat. But don't worry, all that walking will work up an appetite, and luckily, San Francisco is a foodie paradise. From fresh seafood to award-winning restaurants to food trucks slinging everything under the sun, you're sure to find something to satisfy your cravings. So pack your layers, your sense of adventure, and your appetite for adventure because San Francisco is waiting. Chapter 7, Washington, D.C., where history comes to life, and also where politicians argue. Next stop, we're putting on our patriotic pants and heading to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., It's a city of monuments, museums, and enough political intrigue to make your head spin. First up, you gotta visit the National Mall. It's basically America's front yard, only instead of a gnome and a pink flamingo, you've got the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and the World War II Memorial. It's a history buff's dream come true. And speaking of history, no trip to DC is complete without a visit to the Smithsonian Museums. We're talking air and space, natural history, American history, heck, they even have a museum dedicated to the American Indian. And the best part? They're all free. But DC isn't all about the past. It's also a vibrant international city with a thriving food scene. From Michelin-starred restaurants to hole-in-the-wall Ethiopian joints, you're sure to find something to tantalize your taste buds. Just remember, DC is a city of power, so watch out for politicians shaking hands and kissing babies. You never know when you might get caught in a photo op. Chapter 8. New Orleans, where the music never stops and neither does the party. Hold on to your beads, folks, because we're heading down south to the Big Easy, the birthplace of jazz, the city where the party never stops. New Orleans. Get ready for good music, delicious food, and enough Mardi Gras beads to fill a swimming pool. First up, you gotta experience the magic of the French Quarter. It's a colorful, vibrant neighborhood with wrought iron balconies, cobblestone streets, and more jazz clubs than you can shake a stick at. And speaking of jazz, no trip to New Orleans is complete without catching a show in the French Quarter. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or a complete newbie, you'll be tapping your feet and snapping your fingers in no time. But New Orleans isn't just about jazz. It's also about the food. We're talking gumbo, jambalaya, po' boys, beignets. Basically, it's a culinary paradise that will leave you loosening your belt a notch or two. And let's not forget about Mardi Gras. It's the biggest party in the world. And trust me, it lives up to the hype. Just be prepared for crowds, beads, and more feather boas than you've ever seen in your life. So, pack your dancing shoes, your appetite for adventure, and your tolerance for hurricanes, because New Orleans is ready to show you a good time. Chapter 9. Chicago, where the pizza is deep, the architecture is taller, and the wind is always trying to steal your hat. Alright folks, bundle up and grab a slice because we're heading to the Windy City, the second city, the place where the pizza is deep, the architecture is taller, and the wind is always trying to steal your hat. Chicago. First up, you gotta check out the architecture. From the iconic John Hancock Center to the majestic Tribune Tower, Chicago is a feast for the eyes. Take a boat tour on the Chicago River, it's the best way to see the city's skyline in all its glory. And speaking of feasts, let's talk about Chicago's most famous culinary contribution, deep dish pizza. It's cheesy, it's saucy, and it's so thick you'll need a fork and knife to tackle it. Just be sure to wear your stretchy pants. Then there's Millennium Park, home to the iconic Cloud Gate sculpture, better known as the Bean. It's shiny, it's reflective, and it's the perfect place to snap a selfie. But Chicago isn't just about architecture and pizza, it's also a city with a rich history, a thriving arts scene, and enough blues music to make you want to get up and dance. So pack your appetite, your sense of adventure, and a really strong hat, because Chicago is ready to blow you away. Chapter 10, Los Angeles, where dreams come true, or at least you can pretend they do. Last but not least, we're heading to the City of Angels, La La Land, the place where dreams come true, or at least you can pretend they do. Los Angeles, get ready for sunshine, celebrities, and enough traffic to make you pull your hair out. First up, you gotta visit Hollywood. Walk the Walk of Fame, dodge tourists trying to sell you maps to the stars' homes, and maybe, just maybe, you'll spot a celebrity or two. Then there's the beach. From Malibu to Venice Beach to Santa Monica, Los Angeles has a beach for every mood. Soak up the sun, catch a wave, or just people watch. The possibilities are endless. And speaking of endless, let's talk about the traffic. Los Angeles traffic is legendary, so be prepared to spend a lot of time in your car. Bring snacks, bring your patience, and maybe download a few podcasts because you're gonna be there a while. But don't let the traffic scare you away, because Los Angeles has something for everyone. From world-class museums to theme parks to hiking trails in the Hollywood Hills, you're sure to find something to keep you entertained. So pack your sunglasses, your sunscreen, and your sense of adventure, because Los Angeles is waiting. And there you have it, folks, the top 10 must-visit places in America. From the natural wonders of the Grand Canyon to the bright lights of Las Vegas, this country has something for everyone. So what are you waiting for? Pack your bags, book your flights, and get ready for an unforgettable adventure. And don't forget to let me know in the comments which place you're most excited to visit. Who knows, maybe I'll see you there.